Yeah, thank you for sharing. So whenever if you think this data is like really important, you need better to make a copy of that. Again, I want to come back to the WNA FinTech and AI Incubator. Professor, what is the mission and vision of our WNA FinTech?
The mission is threefold. Right? Number one, which we are still building out, is to go into the local community and get projects, FinTech and AI projects. Small businesses around here, Springfield, around Western Massachusetts, who are hearing that AI can do this for you, but they don't have the resources, they don't have the capabilities. We want to get those projects, bring them, and then have students work on those.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
So that's aim number one, to help existing businesses, level up.
Okay.
All right. Number two, what we're doing with the Summer Innovation Fellowship. So the Startup Series. Provide an opportunity for students and young entrepreneurs in the Western Mass community. And young entrepreneurs here can be anyone from 16 to 95.
Oh, right? You're also young.
Who have an idea and want to get help polishing up that idea, the idea jams, preparing their pitches, and then, through that pitch competition, going through the process of competing and getting into the fellowship, building your prototypes, building your business plans, learning more about the different business formations, meeting other startup leaders, other venture capitalists. And so that's kind of like an opportunity to start an idea right from the ground up. And then hopefully introduce you to the wider ecosystem of venture capitalists, the mass challenges, the tech stars. So we are sort of like a step one in the startup journey. So our hope is to get as many of these started up, and hopefully one or two make it. To become unicorns. That's always the dream. But in the end, we want to provide that exposure to the students to say, you can do it. It's not only happening in Silicon Valley or out in Cambridge. You can do it here. Yeah. So that's number two. Number three is skills development. Either through training, through research facilities, or with the training programs for companies that want to upskill their staff. So those are sort of the three pillars of this incubator.
Wow, that's interesting. Professor, our name is like FinTech and AI Incubator. I know there are a lot of people who have a small confusion. I think I also have that confusion. That is my question. What is the difference between FinTech Incubator and AI Incubator? Is there any difference between them or not?
No, there is no difference. Where I say, fin and tech, which is financial technology. Okay. Today, a lot of the technology part is AI.
Yeah.
So conceptually, we could have said fin AI.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. But being more inclusive, FinTech covers more than just AI.
AI. Okay.
Right? Yeah, so for now, given the popularity of AI, it's more fin AI really, because pretty much almost all the projects that we have an AI component in it. But down the road, you can conceivably see somebody thinking of a device like the debit card, the smart cards, or other devices from physical devices for payments and stuff like that. That would also still fall under FinTech.
Professor, so I have a question. Why we are mostly inviting the startup who has AI?
I think it's more, from my perspective, if somebody comes up with another idea that's not just AI, I am very open to looking at them and pushing them. It's just that the time we're at right now. It seems AI is the thing, right? A few years ago, it was the cloud, right? Around the same time, it was blockchains, right? There seems to be some times where there's some technology or a set of technologies that's hot, right? So to speak. With some of the stuff that we're talking about with AI, the investment, when you think about it, is not as high, right? If we are doing somebody who's developing a physical device, typically they need a lab, they need lab equipment, they need, if you're doing something with radio frequencies, you need the equipment to measure the strength of the signals and all of that. So it gets expensive very quickly just in the setup. Whereas with AI, it's your computer, your data, and AWS, Azure, and then you can build little prototypes there and test your ideas.
Yeah, I agree. Professor, a little bit earlier you said that we want to make this area also that a student can also do a startup in this area, not only in Silicon Valley and these places. What do you think, how competitive is WNE FinTech in comparison to the other FinTech that is in the Silicon Valley and other places? How they are, like, what are the differences between our incubator than the Silicon Valley incubators?
It's at two levels. A number of the projects that we work on, because you've got to essentially distinguish when you're doing your startup, is this a consumer startup or is this a business to business startup, right? Typically with your consumer startups, which is where we see a lot of ideas coming in, you've got to scale very quickly, right? Because if you don't scale very quickly, you get stuck in a certain spot. We were talking the other day. Yes, if you're on the App Store or the Google Play, there are thousands, millions. How do you stand out, right? So, and once you stand out, then that gives you an opportunity to scale. Now, when you go to Silicon Valley, typically you have a number of people who can mentor you and advise you who've gone through the scaling process, because that's very important. Right? Everybody's got an idea, everybody may have a little app, but how does it break out? That's very important. And having that mentorship and access to people who can help you, that's even more valuable than the cash you'll get injected into your company, right? So that's one aspect where, places like Silicon Valley and them would bring expertise, which us as a small incubator do not have. The second one, of course, is the funding. You have a lot of venture capitalists, and so whether it's out in Boston or Cambridge or in Silicon Valley or New York City, if your idea passes through certain gates, your opportunities for being funded increases significantly. So having said that, with our idea of getting startups here, the idea is then to push them into the bigger accelerators, the bigger startups, where they can then get some of these resources.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Professor. And we really appreciate. Thank you for bringing this big opportunity platform for us. I wanted to know what are the challenges you face to bring this, because this incubator is new in this area. In Silicon Valley, it is very common. So what are the challenges did you face to bring this incubator in Western England or in this area?
We've had some challenges, but fortunately, as you know, at Western New England University, a number of faculty, we've all stepped up. It's pretty much a volunteer activity. We've got like about 5 faculty volunteering, working on this. We've been working on it now over 2 years. So I would say for anyone wanting to do this somewhere else, having a team is very important. And you guys know it, that we have a team with different expertise. A team with the entrepreneurship and marketing expertise, a team with the startup and finance expertise, a team with the technology backup. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect is we've had some partners, primarily Mass Mutual, who've been very supportive. Recently we have Country Bank who's joined us. So those are on the positive side. Some of the challenges we've had, our plan is not just for Western New England. This, we have it open for Western Massachusetts. The response so far from other colleges and other young entrepreneurs in the Western Massachusetts has not been to the level that we would like. We've approached other neighboring colleges, so we need to do more work there. We'd also appreciate work from other faculty, other members of the community, getting the word out, so we can have this not just be Western New England University Springfield College event or a series of activities, but a more broad Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's interesting. Professor, you said one thing very important that stood out to me was like, you said that there is a good team of people from the different expertise. I'm interested, how did you make that team?
They all volunteered, fortunately.
How did you convince them? Because I also want to make my team, it's very hard to bring the people inside who are genuine and they put the input. But your team is like very strong. Everyone is so curious. They are giving their more than 100%. How did you find that?
The truth is, they were self-driven. They were self-motivated. We just made an announcement in our faculty meeting. Say, yeah, we are starting this. Any faculty member who's interested in helping, let me know. And they came, and this is pretty much how it started. So in a certain sense, everyone is invested because everyone came by themselves. Yeah. So it's not that they were prodded or pushed or anything. Everyone is 100% committed because they want to.
Yeah, I was talking with one of my professor, the college of my professor, and talking about bringing the things like that, and they said that, okay, I am ready, but it's very hard to bring the people. But you gave a great idea, like if you are presenting that idea in the group or meeting, people will come. So there is hope that people will come and they can make the team wherever they want.
Yeah.
Professor, you have been working with the young entrepreneur student. What is your experience so far with the student or entrepreneur you are working?
The experience, for the most part, has been phenomenal. All right. Now, when we talk about startup, or at least when I talk about startup, the thought is somebody has set their mind to say, this is going to be a company, right? This is going to be something where I'm going to derive my livelihood from.
Okay.
Right? So if somebody is invested at that level, then they're interested every day or every week. Have I moved this project along? Right? It's not an academic exercise. Right? So one of the things, at least from my perspective, was the hope to separate this from like a class experience. You're starting a startup, you have to commit. Right? It may succeed, it may fail, but if you're already not fully committed, the chances of success dwindle significantly. Right? Often, a big challenge we have is our startup consist or only of students. And as I was talking about my research, when the semester starts, the students got homework, right? The students got classes. And so now you have the juggling act between your startup and school. Right? So you need to now start saying either I'm going to carve out some time to keep my startup working, because as you're doing your startup, you need to be a lot of work in networking. You have to put yourself out there. Right? You have to be testing. Spend hours and hours building stuff and testing. All right. So there's a lot of work that goes into the startup, and I see that in a number of the teams, which is very encouraging to say, these teams are invested. They said they want this to be a startup. They're giving it their all. Yes, they have other responsibilities. They're not throwing those other responsibilities away, but they are also committed to making this work.
Okay, so Professor, please tell us some of the quality that you see in a student which give the vibes of a successful entrepreneur or successful founder. What are some of the qualities that if you see, then there is a chance that he will be a successful entrepreneur?
Number one, I say persistence. Associated with persistence is obviously careful time management, right? Because if your other responsibilities start to weigh you, something else is going to give, right? So in other words, don't say you want to get into a startup when you've got too many commitments on one side. Something is going to give, right? Either your teammates are going to call you because you're not pulling up your weight, right? So it's that aspect that you're persistent, but you know what your responsibilities are. Do you have the bandwidth to do this? Number two, be ready to work in a team. There's no way you can do a startup by yourself. No matter how good you are, there's too much to be done. You are going to need to assemble a team. You are going to need to delegate. You are going to need to give feedback, to get feedback. So those are very important qualities when you're looking for a startup, right? So if you want to start a startup and you only want to do everything by yourself, chances are very soon it's going to be too much for you, or you're looking for funding and no one wants to fund you because you're the single point of liability, right? Okay. So those are some I would say some biggies, someone who's persistent, someone who keeps on keeping on, right? Number two is someone who can work with others. And part of that working with others is being able to give constructive criticism and receive constructive. Always when someone is criticizing, be able to separate, are they criticizing me or are they criticizing the work? And distinguish that. Because if someone wants something to be successful, they're criticizing that, the work, or trying to get it to be improved. And if you confuse that to they criticized me, then you're not gonna improve, because you always say, worried that someone is criticizing you, and yet that's not it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Professor, is there any particular moment or any event, any incident throughout this journey that really shocked you, or you surprised that thing surprised you?
So far, we started this journey. Yes, you and Smart Credit were our first group, right? First cohort last year. We basically put out that call and made the advert that we're going to offer 6 weeks accommodation, offer the stipend, all of that. We had 0 spots.
Really?
Yeah. had no sponsor. Right? Our first sponsor came about 2 weeks before the pitch contest. So we went, yes, you could say it was blind faith, but we were hopeful that what we're doing makes sense to our partners in the FinTech ecosystem. But we did, it was a leap. And so while you guys were preparing your pitches and all of that, we were busy talking to potential funders, potential sponsors, because we now had this commitment, right?
Yeah.
That people were coming over the summer, the people got these stipends and that sort of stuff. Fortunately, folks saw the value of what we were doing and they did sponsor us. So that was a bit of I wouldn't call it a surprise, but it was, it was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but that was like very strong faith, Professor. Wow.